Hello everyone, this is Babamots. Welcome to another Homeworlds game commentary. This one is between antaylor and MaqicMan, though that Q looks like a G, so it's probably meant to be pronounced as MaqicMan. Ant Taylor makes me think of Aunt B on the Andy Griffith Show. Aunt of little Opie Taylor. Okay, let's see. So these players are pretty new, or at least they were back in at the beginning of May 2023, and I don't know anything about them. I don't think they've been featured on the channel before. Let's see how they do. antaylor going first. Picking a red Goldilocks, MaqicMan taking a yellow Goldilocks. Okay, so this is going to be a small universe. Usually the small universe games lately involve somebody picking a Gemini system. But in this case, both players have both picked non-Gemini, the same non-Gemini size setup. So they both only are connected to medium-sized stars. So we'll see how that goes. They may run out of the popular colors for colony stars, green and blue. Well, maybe sometimes yellow. They may run out of mediums of those colors pretty quickly. Both players build MaqicMan. So antaylor's trading for yellow, the color of one of the home stars. MaqicMan feeling a little indecisive about what to trade for here. Ending up trading for blue. One of the reasons I've been picking small blue home stars when I do choose a small home star is because if my opponent, if there's one thing I can count on, it's my opponent having one of their home stars being blue. That's almost a given. And I would rather have the color that I accelerate be something that is also in my opponent's home. So I prefer antaylor's position here. They're pursuing an economy that MaqicMan will have a harder time keeping up in, and just generally, I think yellow's more valuable as a rule. All right, antaylor feeling a little indecisive. Maybe that's why this game is so long. Maybe there's a lot of indecision. Okay. Building the blue, maybe, after a few tries. Okay. antaylor building the medium yellow. Magic discovering a medium green, spreading out the blues. Yeah, that's all right. Nothing too spooky yet. antaylor is seemingly worried about getting locked out of blue, so they trade for a medium blue. I would have been a little reluctant to do that just because in a small universe, medium yellows are so powerful. You want to have one of those and keep it as early as possible. Magic also gets another medium. antaylor could even build another medium if they wanted to without fear of overpopulation, though MaqicMan would be able to build a large at their home safely. Instead, antaylor spreading out. I think I would have built the medium yellow at home without bothering to spread out. Or antaylor settling on moving their medium blue to a new colony. This way, if MaqicMan ever builds the medium, antaylor can build a large. So that seems like a good stalemating move, or a gridlocking. I feel like there ought to be a term for when nobody wants to build the next ship of that color. Because it's not a stalemate, because stalemate means the end of the game, and it's sort of a gridlock. All right, Magic contemplating whether to trade for yellow. I think they should have traded for yellow. maybe. Or... There's a little bit of a concern. Until MaqicMan gets a red ship, Antaylor could move this blue into MaqicMan's home and then build their way into a star catastrophe. Uh, Probably sacrificing their large ship to do it. But with a few more turns of preparation, Antaylor could be a major threat. So MaqicMan may want to think about moving out that little blue or getting a red. Getting medium yellow is going to be important at some point. They pick that now. Okay. Some small danger from this guy remains, though. Antaylor spreading out the yellows, I think, is fine. That'll be nice for building the mediums. Magic builds something. Medium blue or yellow. They pick the blue. Yeah, this is already a pretty good threat MaqicMan's got going on as well. These blues right outside of Antaylor's home could both be moved in at once, and then MaqicMan just would need one more build to destroy the star. MaqicMan, if they built a small green that they could sacrifice for that build, wouldn't be losing their mothership to do it. Of course, that would be a huge material investment, but it's something that may come into play later, especially after MaqicMan's got enough red that they could finish off the other star. Okay. Where did we just get to? Antaylor builds Y2. Yeah, pretty close to mirrored here. Magic trading for G2. Okay. Making another medium blue build safe, which Antaylor takes. MaqicMan decides it's time to get a red. Yeah, I think a red now or just about any time is wise for MaqicMan. Antaylor thinking about spreading out to a small star. So this is one of the interesting things about small universes that don't involve a Gemini star. Antaylor won't want to build an entire doomsday machine in a single colony. But in order to get to a second staging colony for your doomsday machine, you've got to either first go to some place that's not connected, like this new small star, or you've got to build a few pieces at your home and then move them to two different colonies directly from your home. That's usually what I would try to do, just to avoid spending this extra time on a colony that isn't connected to anything. Though, as disconnected colonies go, I think moving a blue to a small star is a good idea. If Antaylor takes out the small yellow star, then having blues in small systems will suddenly be connected to MaqicMan's home with only the blue star remaining. So this is a good place for a blue to start building up more pieces of a doomsday machine. All right. Magic now taking another blue. But that opens up the mediums. So Antaylor could build a medium safely. Magic could then build a large blue and only be risking... So if Magic were to build a large blue right now, then if Antaylor decided to overpopulate it, they would have to sacrifice, say, a Y1 to move in the B2 for the overpopulation. So compared to the position right now, MaqicMan would be causing antaylor to lose a small and a medium in exchange for Magic's two smalls. So that seems like a pretty good trade. And this is something, by the way, that I recommend, a style of analysis I recommend. MaqicMan should not think of antaylor's possible response to Magic's building of this b3 as potentially losing a b3 and two b1s. Magic should be thinking of this as I can possibly trade out two small blues for this medium blue and this y1. That's how I recommend thinking of it. Antaylor may not take that overpopulation, though. They might just build a b3 for themselves as well. Okay, so that's all of that is something that antaylor should be having in their head when deciding whether or not to build this b2. Let's see what they decide. Both of these players seem to like to go through a few iterations before deciding what to do. All right. Antaylor trading for green. I got pretty wrapped up in talking about pursuing the large blues and didn't point out MaqicMan has got the only red, and antaylor just declined to get red in this turn when they had the opportunity. So MaqicMan could start chasing antaylor's colony ships around. If MaqicMan, for example, moves the y2 to this colony, then this b2 has nowhere to run. It can't run on its own. Antaylor would have to either let it get captured with an R1 sacrifice, or antaylor would have to sacrifice the little yellow to run the blue away to someplace. None of those things aren't attractive. So I think MaqicMan should be looking at invading. MaqicMan, okay, moves in two blues. This is kind of like what I was suggesting, what I had my eye on before, mentioning that they could move in two blues and they can't both be captured. So MaqicMan certainly gets antaylor's blue star when they want, assuming that's, well, MaqicMan certainly gets the blue star, but is it too big of an investment? I think so. This will bring MaqicMan down to just 3 ships, I suppose. So after Magic sacrifices G2, builds a blue, and builds, let's say, green 1 here at home, MaqicMan's down to just 3 ships. Antaylor has a lot more than that, and even down a star, I think antaylor will be ahead. Let's see if Magic... Oh, Magic already committed. Okay. And antaylor, I think, wisely is ignoring the threat. They... Well... maybe not so wisely. Antaylor might be better off capturing one of these little blues just so that MaqicMan has got to build right away rather than trying to cause any extra mayhem. Now, if antaylor commits to this b2 build, MaqicMan can capture the y1 and get even more out of this annoying position that they've got. Let's see if Magic captures or if they build right away. They're thinking about building a G1. That leaves a G3 open for antaylor to build. I don't care for that very much. But Magic does have the right idea here that it's okay for them to leave this tension on the board. Antaylor has not responded, so Magic doesn't have to rush this blue star demolition. But I think building G1 is not the way to go here. In fact, Okay, so not only does it open a G3 for antaylor to build, antaylor could also sacrifice the Y2 to move this little green over to Alti, chunk chunk, 2 moves, take out the Alti colony in a supernova, and now Magic's only remaining green is their mothership, and if they want to uh, complete this blue star demolition, then they'll have to sacrifice their mothership, which they'd probably rather not do. Okay, Magic completing the star demolition. Yeah, I think there's nothing particularly wrong with doing that now, though they could have tried to do some other more pressing things first if they had any. And in particular, I think capturing the Y1 just to be annoying could have been fun. Although, I mean, antaylor can just take it right back, so that's shaping up to a draw. Although, given the position now, I think MaqicMan would have been better off pursuing a draw because I think antaylor is in a notably better position now. At least they've got the material. Magic can does they've got 1 red, so they can start building that toward a second phase of a doomsday machine. Okay, antaylor though, expanding their material lead with another medium ship, or okay, trading for red is also pretty good. Building the green. Yeah, antaylor has a factory at this point. Oh, so does MaqicMan. MaqicMan could sacrifice G3, build G2 and G3. Of course, that puts 3 greens in their homeworld, so that's not actually quite safe, but technically a factory. Yeah, by passing up another turn in which to build red, antaylor has put themselves at some risk. I think Magic would be pretty well advised, actually, to move that green into bleb. I think that wasn't a bad move at all, threatening a supernova while antaylor has no red to defend themselves. Okay, instead they pick a yellow colony. I guess they just want to prevent antaylor from building any more green. Ant spreads out the greens to be a little safer. I think that's seems pretty okay, except for the fact that they still really need a red ship. Well, it's less urgent than it was. Magic doesn't have any medium ships to threaten any of antaylor's mediums, and I think antaylor's biggest vulnerability was that the bleb colony is green and already has a green ship, and Magic passed up the opportunity to add another green ship to it. So yeah, antaylor doesn't need a red particularly. If Magic builds that G2, they've opened up antaylor for a G3. Magic pushing the reds. I think that's pretty good, actually. Sacrificing G1. Oh, what do you do with that? Just building the red. Yeah, I think the squonk is not necessary. The squandering sacrifice of the G1 for the R1 build is not needed. Antaylor can't build. They can't go on a green shopping spree. They haven't got the space for that many greens. So putting a little green in the bank is not needed. Okay. Antaylor trading out for red at last. Red at last. Let's see what Magic's got. So Magic won't want to build that last red in their home right away. They could move, yeah, spread out the reds. It would have been pretty okay for them to even put that little red with the little green so that it could continue to build. Although having even 2 ships together while you're down in material is often a bad idea, but antaylor can't cheaply get a medium ship to either of these colonies. They'd have to at least sacrifice a Y1 to bring in this blue. Okay, Magic's still being a little indecisive. Okay, moving that green to a more vulnerable position. Here in a small colony, it can be harassed by any of these mediums in Bleb, and it can no longer run away because it's now at a red star instead of yellow. I think splitting up the reds was the better call. Yeah, antaylor looking at ways to harass this green. They bring in the medium red. And if Magic builds a medium green, they're just... Oh, well. They're giving antaylor a chance to build large green. And Magic can capture this R2. That's... Okay, this is more interesting than it looked at first, because usually when this happens, when you build a ship to defend yourself, it just gets captured. But in this case, building the G2 opens up the larger ships, so if antaylor captures the G2, Magic gets to build a G3. Oh, but Magic shouldn't build the G3 because then they'd have there are these two greens. Antaylor. So if Magic were to build that G3, okay, let's try this again. All right, if antaylor captures, that's a turnaround arrow for captures. Captures that G2. If Magic then builds the G3, which seems to be the benefit that I see to having built that G2 in the first place, then antaylor sacrifices G2 to move a couple of greens into Magic's home for the catastrophe, and that's not good for Magic. So this, I think, was a pretty poor choice from Magic. Yeah, I think they should take it back. Good. Sacrificing the G1 to build an R2. That's 3 reds together, but antaylor could only catastrophe them by sacrificing the Y2. But on the other hand, that puts Magic at exactly their original position with just one ship at their home. So yeah, Magic, I think, is better off spreading out those reds. Oh, they commit to the build, though. All right, let's see if antaylor builds or if they capture. Antaylor is thinking about it. They build. And I think capturing was actually the better idea because Magic couldn't safely build. Though I'm not positive. All right, antaylor builds, Magic captures. All right, great. Now what? If Magic gets some yellow to actually start moving these reds into antaylor's home, then there could be trouble. But we're not quite there yet. All right, antaylor trading blue for yellow. I think they're trying to cut Magic out of the yellow economy entirely. Magic does have, if antaylor commits to this, Magic's got one turn in which they can trade for yellow at their home before it all disappears. That will give antaylor a chance to build large yellow. Magic won't be able to build yellow in their home because that would be too many. And in fact, antaylor could do a shopping spree building 3 yellows at once, all 3 large yellows. And Magic would be pretty sunk. So I think that was a good choice for antaylor. I think trading blue for yellow was pretty good. Although trading for red feels pretty good too, because otherwise Magic doesn't have a lot they could do with it, but Magic has the only red unless antaylor trades for red now, which they do. Okay. Magic trades for blue. Oh, that's peculiar. I I think what Magic needs is yellow, not blue. Magic has already destroyed Aunt Taylor's only blue star. Maybe what they want to do is put that blue in the Fost colony, or sacrifice the blue to get themselves a Y2 out here in Fost. That would actually be pretty strong. Okay, but yeah, with that spare large of Aunt Taylor's, they invade the Fost colony, and there's really not much Magic can do about it. Oh, they can send it into a supernova with the G2 sacrifice. Okay, well that's cute. I think I'm pretty sure that's the right move too. Or mm, I was thinking about sacrificing the G3 instead to build two of these smaller reds and then rebuild an R3 at home. Uh, but then Magic wouldn't have any greens. This is probably best. All right, Ann Taylor still with a big material advantage, but missing a home star. Magic needs to, well, but with that blunder, Ann Taylor has lost their large ship advantage. But they can probably get it back, honestly. All they need to do is start building greens. Especially if Magic takes this G2 out of the bank as a star. The large greens would be within reach pretty quickly. Okay, Magic building. Reluctant to build red because it opens up larger reds. Well, but Aunt Taylor's not going to build red when they've already got two together. Okay, come on, Magic. I hope it, if Magic or Ann Taylor happens to be watching, if I seem to be criticizing you, it's all in the spirit of learning. I don't I don't mean to be unkind. All right. Let's see. Ann Taylor now probably just going to build something to continue their material lead. Yeah, building the yellow. There are no small yellows left, so Magic will probably never get a yellow ship again, is my prediction. If Magic builds the small green and Taylor builds the large green, building the red is honestly about the best they can do, I suppose. Because at least it opens up the mediums that they might be able to build in another turn or two. And Taylor can just go right on pursuing those yellows. In fact, they could have done a shopping spree to build the... but then they wouldn't have any green left at home. That's not so bad. Okay. Yeah, the shopping spree would have cleaned out two of the large yellows as well. But Aunt Taylor is doing just fine. All right, Magic splitting up the reds in hopes of building a medium. But honestly, I think they should build that medium at home where it's safer. Ann Taylor has just got another large ship, so the Gabbert colony is vulnerable to invasion. Ann Taylor, instead of invading, spreading out their reds, preparing to join the battle for building larger reds. Magic building blue. I guess they think it's a gridlock in the red economy. And I guess it kind of is. Yeah, Aunt Taylor getting those large yellows one at a time, or no, change their mind and they're going to invade that colony. Yep, 4 ships. I don't recommend having even 2 ships together in a colony if you can avoid it when you're this far down in material, especially if you've got if there's a specifically if there's a ship size that your opponent has over you, Um, Usually, when your opponent has a spare large and you don't. Um, and of course, none of these ships can go anywhere because antaylor has the yellows locked down. Magic trading for blue. I guess wanting to overpopulate the blues if antaylor captures. Thinking about a few things. Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter what MaqicMan does at this point, I'm afraid. It's pretty over. Capturing the R1. Uh, Thinking about a few different combinations. I don't think it makes a heap of difference. Magic overpopulates the blues, maybe. Yes, they do. Magic's back down to 2 ships. Antaylor builds more large yellow. Magic tries to get mediums by building the red. Antaylor gets more large yellow. I'll go a little quickly because none of this matters very much. It's going to be it's just a matter of how long antaylor takes to finish this up. Antaylor just needs another blue someplace. Oh, that's not a mistake exactly, but it's a little funny that antaylor has these 3 greens in this colony, so magic could actually overpopulate them, make it a supernova, and antaylor would still be overwhelmingly ahead. And they do. Okay, so that will speed up the game. Antaylor invades with a G3 that MaqicMan can't defend against because MaqicMan ran out of large ships when they supernovaed that system. And so MaqicMan resigns by moving out their last ship. All right, well, I think there were some interesting things to learn from there. Main lesson here, MaqicMan was doing all right until they overpopulated antaylor's star. They invested too much in a single star demolition. They didn't have a plan for finishing the game, and it put them so far behind in material that they just couldn't keep up. They couldn't defend their colonies. They couldn't stay spread out to build effectively, and antaylor won with just their 1 remaining star. This is pretty common with newer players, that you see a chance to destroy 1 star, but you don't have a plan for the other one, and it just puts you too far behind. I've won quite a few games against new players where they make it pretty easy for me by investing all of their ships into destroying 1 star, and they say, okay, well, I'll just win the game now. Yeah, well played by both. Thank you for having played this game on Board Game Arena so that we could learn from it. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.